Sit back, relax, and let's have a chapter chat. I'm your host, Jessica Foster, and today we have author Sheila Roberts joining us to talk about her latest release, which is so adorable, Love on the Shelf. Thanks so much for being here, Sheila.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been so excited to talk to you. And congratulations. I do believe you are an award-winning lady now, correct?
Yes, our podcast was just awarded first place from the Florida Association of Broadcast Journalists for Best Podcast Series. It's such an honor. It really is.
Without the help of people like you, I don't know how we'd get our stories out. So you just do such an amazing service for all of us.
Oh, you are so kind. And you have a lot to be proud of as well, because you do have Love on the Shelf out now. And tell me a little bit about the premise behind Love on the Shelf. How did you come to find this story?
Just when I first got the idea for this book, it was going a slightly different direction. It was going to be a little bit more of a defense of men. Because way back, authors were always working way ahead when we were doing our books. And I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, the whole choose the bear thing. If I had to be alone in the woods, I don't want to be with a bear or a man. All the ladies are going, I'm taking the bear. And I'm going, what? What has happened? Why are men all of a sudden the bad guys everywhere in our culture? And I really felt kind of sorry for guys because I know not everyone is perfect and there are some stinkers out there, but most of the men in my life and all the men that I've known have been really good guys. And I thought, gosh, somebody kind of needs to step in and defend our poor men who are just taking it on the chin right and left. And so I guess the defender wound up being my hero, Parker Black, who kind of had the same idea. But then, of course, I got to thinking and I thought, well, you know what? That little pendulum does swing both ways. So I thought, well, my little hero needs a lesson. And maybe both he and the hero need a lesson. And so that's kind of how the book came about.
And I've also noticed a trend with books about books, books about bookstores. And I think it's because bookish people love reading about books and bookstores.
I think so too, and gosh, it's really fun to see how many romance bookstores we have popping up around the country. It's very fun, and women-owned businesses, and I just think that's fabulous.
Yes, we actually have a romance bookstore that's popped up in our local area as well, so it is something that you're seeing.
Yeah, I think so. So, and that's a good trend. People reading is a good trend, because I keep reading that that reading is falling off. And so anything to encourage people to use their minds and imagination and keep their skill with words up, I think is a very good thing.
We get so immersed in technology in today's world that everybody is looking at their phone constantly.
Research is starting to come out about how important it is to be doing something besides scrolling on our phones. And I'm a phone scroller myself, I must say. So nothing wrong with having chats on social media. But I try to get my dose of reading in every day, too.
Yes. I also want to talk about some of your other writing because you have a lot of holiday novels also.
I do. In fact, I do have one coming out right around the bend. Have Yourself a Merry Little Meltdown will be out for this Christmas. And oh gosh, that was fun. They seem to be in a book-themed mode that also involves books. A woman who's written a novel based on her family and realizing after it's out, I shouldn't have done this. I'm going to be in so much trouble because every family secret, she's spilling tea right and left. And now she's trying to hide the evidence from her family with this book that's becoming very popular. And so that was such a fun book to write. But I do love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. Gosh, I've had a couple of Christmas novels made into movies, and that's been fun. Everything about it, from the festivities to the wonderful message behind it, and all those great Christmas reads and Christmas movies and Christmas cookies.
I love Christmas too. We decorate in a big way, celebrate in a big way. In fact, we have a separate storage unit just for all of our Christmas decor.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm seriously impressed. You are my girl, I tell you.
I know. We have a lot in common, don't we? I want to talk about those books that have been turned into movies because I'm always fascinated by that. So tell me kind of how that process works, how that came about.
My first one, On Strike for Christmas, that just sort of happened. Someone saw the book and got in touch with my publisher. And it was like, okay, that's exciting. That was a done deal. But then the next book that got made into a movie, The 9 Lives of Christmas, that was very fun because we knew far enough in advance. A little ham bone that I am, I weaseled my way into getting a cameo appearance. And, you have certain things in your life that you go, ooh, that was a really fun time. And that was a really fun time. We got to visit the set, got my little face on the camera. I thought, here we go. I'm launching my career. I'm going to get on Dancing with the Stars. Well, that never quite happened, but we had fun. It was just really a special time. And I had been battling the big C. I just finished chemo. And so there I am in my little chemo wig and had my last treatment, I believe it was. And I was pretty tired. But when they're doing the made-for-TV movies, they make them quickly and they put in really, really long hours. And I think we were there for like 10 hours and they were still going at it. They were still working. And of course, it's fun to see here, it's not Christmas and you have the fake snow everywhere and, it's maybe even hot out. And we're out here going, fa la la. Boy, I thought, I can see now why movies often cost so much money because you'll spend one day making a scene.
That is so neat. I bet you were on that set and you're like, is this real life? Is this really happening right now?
Yeah, it's just so fun to see something you imagined coming to life.
And congratulations on being a cancer survivor. And I'm a cancer survivor myself.
Oh, awesome. Oh, congratulations to you. It's an interesting battle, isn't it?
Yes. And Sheila, when you were going through cancer, did you write a lot? Was it easy for you to write or was it difficult?
It was what? I would not want to go through that again, but I feel like that was such a time of spiritual growth for me. Actually, I actually wrote that whole time. I wound up with a memoir. I just kept a journal of what was going on every day, of my ups and downs and everything I faced. And I've kind of turned it into a bit of a self-help book. And it's still out there. It's called Unexpected Journey. But whenever I hear of someone who's going through that, if someone mentions it online when we're chatting on Facebook or whatever, I always try and send a copy of that book to somebody in the hope that it will encourage them and let them know you will get through this. It's going to be okay. And I think you and I are examples of that. We fought it. We beat it. It makes life so much more precious after you've gone through it, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it really does. And, I remember thinking, because I was young when I was diagnosed with breast cancer in my 30s. That's not typical. And I had a young daughter. And I just remember thinking, I've got to be there to watch her grow up and to help my husband raise my daughter. And I just remember just praying and just turning everything over to the Lord and saying, you know what, that's all I know to do right now. And I just had such peace during that entire journey. I never wanted to stop working. I had a bilateral mastectomy and I was back on the air doing the news about 2.5 weeks after that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Which is really crazy. But I remember telling the doctor, we got to get these drains out because I need to go back to work. I just needed some normalcy. And I also wanted viewers to know that it's going to be okay. And just having a platform, like I have this platform, you have your platform. And I think that we serve a purpose to let people know about early detection.
Absolutely. And I always tell ladies, no, you keep getting those exams from your doctor because cancer can hit you at any age. And the same with mammograms. Cancer, I always thought, after a certain age, I'm done. No, you need to continue to do that to maintain your health. You will be an encouragement to someone as you go through your battle, So I just really do believe that God works in whatever we're going through. And once you're a survivor, you're still here. You're here for a reason. So just keep that in mind. And also, one day at a time.
Yes, such a beautiful message. It really is. So we were talking a little bit about age. So tell me, what age were you when you started writing professionally?
My first book was published when I was 39. So been doing this obviously for quite a long time. And I was always writing before that. I was writing little articles and short stories and things. And I think even as a child, I was writing stories. And I suspect as you've interviewed authors, you found that to be the case. Often those things we love to do as a child. I've talked to women, like who are nurses. Oh yeah, I was always playing nurse and bandaging my pets or whatever. And often our gifts show up as children, and we end up growing into those gifts as we get older. So and it's kind of interesting. That was definitely the case with me.
How would you say that the publishing world has changed over the years from when you first started?
Wow. It has changed a lot. There are good things and bad things about that. The market has gotten a lot more crowded. There are so many of us writing now, and that's a good thing. And it's lovely that we all have a platform. The downside, that, however, the amount of readers are shrinking and the amount of writers is growing. So it gets really competitive. And so it really is a challenge. I think you have to be very determined, don't give up, and stick with it and keep working it if you're going to find your readers and be able to maintain a career.
And what would you say makes a successful book? What are you seeing people gravitating toward right now?
It varies from walk of life to walk of life, generation to generation. Right now, we're seeing the romantasy is so big, with the dragons and the medieval stuff in a whole different world, the world building. And I think what calls to people in a book, everybody wants to escape for a while. They just want to set aside the pressures or the work, or they're having maybe a dull week and they just want a little adventure. I think that's the main thing that draws people in. And of course, the characters. It's interesting when we talk about books, we don't usually talk about the plot, the things that are happening. We talk about the characters.
And what do you hope that people get out of Love on the Shelf?
I'm hoping, that they'll get some laughs and some smiles, of course. I'm hoping, too, that they'll get some encouragement and that they'll see that books have value. And I think that also, I'm hoping that as they watch my little Parker Black have his epiphanies and grow as a person, watch Alice grow from being a little insecure and shy and coming into her own and become confident, that they'll say, hey, you know what? That can be me. I can grow in confidence, and hey, there's a guy out there maybe who is in the process of becoming perfect, and he's going to be my perfect man at some point. I'm just hoping people will enjoy the book. I think that's what that boils down to. I'm hoping that they'll just come away with a smile and say, oh, that was really fun. And yes, I love books.
And have you always wanted to write romance stories?
I've just always wanted to write stories. I think I've always loved a good love story. I mean, who doesn't love a good romance? I do think that romance, sometimes we think of it in too narrow a terms, because romance it's all the trimmings in a relationship.
We all love a happy ending.
We do. We want a happy ending in life. And I mean, I know there are people out there, they like the tragic books. And that doesn't happen to be me. I feel like life is tough enough. I just want to have a nice, happy ending where everybody gets their problems figured out and we skip off into the sunset. So again, I think that's something that romance novels can offer. They give us a little bit of encouragement and let us think, yeah, all can be well with the world.
Sheila, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun talking with you.
Yes, it's so fun. And Love on the Shelf is out now. You won't be disappointed if you read it. You've been listening to Chapter Chat. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Happy reading.